You track your macros, you meal prep every Sunday, you hit your protein target most days, and yet by Wednesday, you're forgetting 3 meals, blaming it on willpower. Maybe the problem was never your discipline. It's that dry chicken and plain rice taste like punishment, and nobody sticks with punishment for long. 7 recipes fix that completely, and recipe number 6 is the one quietly building muscle while you sleep. Number 1, the 90-second egg bowl. 3 whole eggs, 2 extra egg whites, 1 ounce of shredded cheddar, scrambled hard in a pan with a little butter. The whole eggs give you the fat-soluble nutrients and the choline your body actually uses. The extra whites stack pure protein without stacking extra calories on top. The cheese adds another 7 grams, and more importantly, makes the whole thing taste like a meal instead of a punishment. Full bowl lands around 38 grams of protein for roughly 350 calories. Here's the part the clean eating crowd skips. You don't need 8 egg whites and a shake chugged over the sink every morning. You need 1 bowl you'll actually make again tomorrow. A perfect meal you eat once means nothing. An average meal you eat for a year builds a body. Remember that before you buy another $40 supplement to fix a problem, a pan and 3 eggs already solved. The wellness industry needs eggs to stay complicated, so egg white cartons and cholesterol supplements keep selling. The yolk was never the villain. 40 years of confusion, and the whole egg was fine the entire time. Number 2, the gas station excuse killer. 1 can of tuna in water, drained, dumped over a cup of cooked white rice, a splash of soy sauce, and sriracha. If you're not a coward about spice. Tuna gives you close to 20 grams of protein at almost 0 fat, for under $1 a can. The rice isn't filler. It replaces the glycogen you burned training, so your body isn't quietly pulling from the muscle you just built to refill the tank overnight. Full bowl runs around 24 grams of protein, under 400 calories, 5 minutes of effort, 1 bowl to rinse. I don't have time to cook stopped being a real excuse the day they put a can opener on a keychain. This takes less time than scrolling a delivery app arguing with yourself about an $11 burrito. It isn't worth it. You already know that. Make the bowl. Canned tuna in water, not oil, keeps this cheap and keeps the calories where you want them. Rotate it with canned salmon or chicken if you want variety. Same math, same result, same 5 minutes. Number 3, the bulk beef bowl. Half a pound of 90% lean ground beef, browned plain, over a cup and a half of rice, 1 ounce of melted cheese on top. Beef at that ratio gives you roughly 44 grams of protein for the batch, with just enough fat left in to support the hormone production your body needs to build muscle at all. The same hormone production certain diet trends spent 30 years telling men to starve out of their meals. Batch this on Sunday. 4 containers, 4 days handled. 0 decisions required Tuesday at 7 in the morning when your brain isn't working yet anyway. The industry wants you thinking lean muscle requires exotic ingredients you've never correctly pronounced. It requires beef, rice, a pan, and 45 minutes on a day you weren't doing anything important anyway. This isn't a green light to eat fat with no limit. It's a correction to 30 years of telling men 0 fat builds muscle, when your body actually needs a baseline of it to keep hormone production running at all. Balance, not extremes, is the actual answer nobody puts on a supplement label. Here's the mechanism tying this whole list together, and it isn't a theory. It's how your body actually processes protein. Research on meal timing shows spreading protein evenly across 3 or 4 meals a day, roughly 25 to 40 grams per sitting, drives more total muscle repair over 24 hours than shoving it all into one enormous dinner. That means the recipe you eat at every meal matters as much as the one impressive meal you post a photo of. This isn't about one perfect dinner. It's about 7 meals boring enough to repeat, and good enough that you actually want to. This is not a theory some influencer invented to sell a meal plan. It's basic protein kinetics, published and repeated in nutrition journals for over a decade. The men ignoring it aren't ignoring science. They're ignoring math. And math doesn't care how motivated you feel on a Monday. If you want a target number, most lifters do well eating somewhere between 0.7 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. A 180-pound man lands around 126 to 180 grams a day. These 7 recipes, spread across 4 meals, gets you there without a single shake. Number 4, and this is the one that's going to start arguments. The broke man's burrito bowl. 1 cup of black beans, 1 cup of rice, 1 ounce of cheese, salsa. Done. Beans and rice together give you a complete amino acid profile. All 9 essentials your body can't make on its own. For under $1.50 a serving. This isn't new. Cultures have been combining legumes and grains for this exact reason since before creatine existed in a tub. Full bowl runs around 19 grams of protein, plus enough fiber that you're not raiding the fridge 2 hours later out of boredom disguised as hunger. And before somebody tells me meat is mandatory, it's not. You need enough total protein across the day, not a receipt that reads like a car payment. If your entire muscle-building identity depends on steak every meal, that's not nutrition. That's a personality attached to a grocery bill. And the fiber isn't a side effect either. It slows digestion just enough that the amino acids from the beans absorb over a longer window instead of spiking and disappearing in 20 minutes. Slower absorption from a cheap bowl of beans and rice doing a job people pay $30 for in a slow-release protein supplement that's mostly just beans and rice with better marketing. Everything so far has made sense. Number 5 is about to contradict a rule you've heard on every fitness account you follow. Number 5, Thai chicken bowl. 6 ounces of diced chicken breast, tossed in 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter, thinned with soy sauce and lime, over a cup of rice. Roughly 55 grams of protein in one bowl, and it tastes like something you'd order at a restaurant, not something you choke down out of obligation. Here's the rule it breaks. Clean eating culture insists muscle-building food has to be bland to work. Plain chicken, plain rice, plain broccoli, forever. Like flavor is somehow cheating. That's not physiology. That's a personality trait some influencer turned into a diet philosophy and sold you as discipline. Flavor doesn't lower your protein count by 1 gram. It raises the odds you actually eat this bowl again next Thursday instead of quietly ordering takeout and lying to your tracking app about it. There's also a recovery angle nobody mentions. Peanut butter's fat content slows gastric emptying just enough to blunt the insulin spike from the rice, keeping energy steadier for the 2 hours after you eat instead of crashing you at your desk by 3 o'clock. That's not seasoning. That's function, wrapped in something that actually tastes good. Number 6. The one I told you about. The midnight protein pudding. 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese, 1 scoop of vanilla whey or casein, blended together for about 90 seconds until it turns into something with the texture of soft serve. Here's the mechanism, and this one is actually backed by published research, not gym mythology passed down like scripture. Cottage cheese and casein are slow-digesting proteins. Research going back to work from Boyre and colleagues in the 90s, and confirmed again by studies out of Maastricht University on overnight protein feeding, shows that slow-digesting protein eaten before bed keeps amino acids circulating in your bloodstream for several hours while you sleep, actively supporting muscle repair instead of leaving your body doing nothing productive for 8 straight hours. This bowl runs close to 38 grams of protein for around 300 calories, and it tastes like dessert. That's not an accident. That's the entire point of putting it on this list. The supplement industry sells a nighttime protein blend in a black tub with a jacked guy on the label for around $50 that does functionally the same job as this bowl for about 4. Nobody's putting a shredded guy on a container of cottage cheese, so nobody talks about it. That's not a conspiracy. That's just where the marketing budget happens to go. If you've been skipping protein at night because somebody told you eating before bed makes you soft, you've been listening to the same category of advice that told an entire generation. Low-fat dairy was the healthy choice back in the 90s. Look at how that one aged. And if you're the guy who still thinks eating before bed is a mistake, ask yourself where that idea actually came from. Not a study, not your doctor, probably a gym forum in 2006. Some ideas just survive because nobody bothers to check them. There's also a practical reason this beats a shake. Liquid whey moves through your system fast, which is exactly what you want right after training, and exactly what you don't want 8 hours before you wake up. Casein and cottage cheese are thick for a reason. That thickness is the whole mechanism, not a texture accident. Number 7. The system closer. Protein French toast. 2 eggs, half a cup of cottage cheese, a splash of milk, blended smooth, dipped over 4 slices of whole grain bread and cooked in a pan like regular French toast. Sounds like a cheat meal, isn't one. Full plate lands around 32 grams of protein, and it uses ingredients already sitting in your fridge from the egg bowl and the pudding you just made. That's not a coincidence. A list only works as a system when the items reinforce each other, instead of sitting there as 7 random ideas you try once and forget by Thursday. This is also the recipe that ends the argument about whether eating protein heavy has to mean eating boring. It doesn't. It never did. The men who think discipline requires suffering usually aren't disciplined. They're just bad at cooking, and they've turned that limitation into a personality. You're not doing that anymore. 7 recipes, real numbers, food you'll actually make twice. Consistency is the only supplement that's ever actually worked for anyone, and it's the only one you were never sold because there's no bottle for it. 7 meals, repeated, beat one perfect meal you photograph and never make again. Look at the pattern across all 7 of these. None of them require a subscription app that tracks your mood before it lets you log a meal. None of them require a supplement stack with 4 products and a discount code. Every single one uses ingredients you can buy in the same 10-minute grocery run, cooked in under 15 minutes, using a pan you already own. That's not a coincidence, and it's not me being cheap on purpose. It's the actual difference between advice built to help you and advice built to sell you something else next month. The fitness media has spent decades convincing men that complexity equals seriousness, that if a plan doesn't feel complicated, it can't possibly be working. It's backwards. The men with the best physiques in any gym you've ever walked into are not running the most complicated system. They're running the simplest one, consistently, for years, while everyone else is still shopping for the next supplement that promises to skip that part. You don't need to cook all 7 of these tonight, and if you try, you'll quit by Wednesday like every meal prep plan you've abandoned before. Pick the egg bowl for tomorrow morning and the pudding for tomorrow night. 2 recipes, roughly 75 grams of protein covered before you've made a single other decision about food all day. That's the minimum effective dose. Run that for 1 week before you touch anything else on this list. If a week goes by and you're still eating the same dry chicken breast you were eating before this video, that's not a scheduling problem. That's a decision you're making on purpose, and you already know it. The recipes work whether you believe they will or not. Your adherence is the only variable left that's actually still up to you. And if you're the guy already planning to modify all 7 recipes before you've made one of them, stop. Make it exactly as written the first time. Adjust after you've actually tasted it, not before, based on a guess about what you think you'll like. Most men who improve a recipe before trying it are really just finding a reason to avoid starting today. None of what's in this video is rare information. Every mechanism here has been published, studied, and available for free for years. What's rare is a man who actually cooks the recipe instead of bookmarking the video and going right back to the same dry chicken breast tomorrow morning. Here's the actual truth underneath all 7 of these. The information was never the bottleneck. You could have found every fact in this video with 15 minutes and a search engine. The bottleneck was always execution, and execution isn't sold in a tub, so nobody built a business convincing you it mattered more than the powder did. The information was always free. The execution was always on you. Stop scrolling. Go cook something.